Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's so good to see you again. Thank you for coming back and kicking it with me. Today I really just want to take some time, play with some makeup. I know a lot of you guys really like my videos where I do actual makeup looks, so I'm trying to incorporate them again into my channel. Now today we're going to be using the Urban Decay, this is the Naked Honey Palette. This is a freaking gorgeous palette. It didn't really strike me as beautiful when I saw pictures of it online, but in person it looks really, really beautiful. Actually, I'm going to insert a clip right over here so you guys can see the swatches of it. They look actually surprisingly beautiful on deeper skin, also on all other skin tones, but usually I found that some of the earlier Naked palettes have not been dark girl friendly or deep skin friendly or people of color friendly. You catch my drift. But I'm actually really enjoying this one, so I thought, you know what? Why not? Let's do a video featuring it. Now, I'm also going to be talking to you just about some interesting things that have been happening in my life so far, some cool things that I want to share with you and kind of get your thoughts on. So grab a snack, grab some tea, some water, a drink, and chill with me. Now, I'm going to start with some priming. Now, I've got my cocktail here. I use the Fenty Mattifying primer in my T-zone and also the Farsali Skin Tune Blur all over, like in my normal areas. So the first thing that I want to share with you guys is I actually had my 5th wedding anniversary this past month, so at the beginning of September, and it was really cool. We celebrated low-key. We did 2 different things. Now, the first thing we did was we went camping into like a remote state park in Maine, and I'll tell you a little bit about that later because I have a story I want to share with you. But the second thing we did was we went to Lake Champlain here in Burlington, and we went on like a cruise that they have on the lake, and it was so beautiful. You guys, there's one thing I have to say about living in Vermont. In the summertime, you have to come see Lake Champlain. It's definitely like one of the most beautiful lakes I've ever seen here in the Northeast in New England, and it's just so gorgeous. Like, if you have the opportunity, definitely come in August so that you're not in the humidity, in the heat, and just like take a sunset cruise. Oh my god, you won't regret it. So that was just something really like nice and low-key that we did. We're totally low-key. We didn't want to do anything like lavish. We just kind of wanted to do something simple and just enjoy each other's company, you know? I'm also going to use the Banana Bright eye cream. This is from Ole Henriksen, and I like this because it helps my concealer last longer and not crease as much. Okay, so I need to tell you guys what happened on our camping trip. Now, most of you guys have heard of Maine. No matter where you are in the country or in the world, Maine is really famous for their lobsters. It's in the very like top of the northeast of the US. Anyway, it's pretty rural. You know, if you are not in the city, it's just, yeah, there's like no cell phone service, just woods and woods for miles and miles. Now, if you like camping, that's all fun and games. But this is very interesting. You know, we had to drive to a remote camping spot, and it was the only camping spot that we had for probably about like maybe a mile or 2 in like each direction. So it wasn't one of those crowded camping spots. Now I'm just priming my eyes with the Balm, put a lid on it, and we get out there and you kind of have to carry some of your equipment in because you can only park your car so far into the campsite, and then you have to just transport your stuff into where they have like the tent set up and the fire pit set up. So the first night we get there, you know, we set up our campsite. We're just like enjoying the peace and quiet, and it's just a really beautiful spot right by this river. Now the weird part is when it starts to get dark, okay? When it started to get dark, I don't know, something really strange happens, and I don't know about you. You know, you might not believe in like the paranormal or weird stuff, but I have something that happened that it just is like undescribable. So as it starts to get dark, you know, like I said, we're chilling and we have the fire going, you know, and I start using the camp stove and start cooking some food up, some dinner. And we start to hear, well, I would say I started to hear what sounded like muffled echoes of a conversation. And you could hear like men and women talking, but you couldn't hear the distinction of their words, right? And you'd probably say, oh, well, there were probably some other campers nearby. But I heard this like continuous conversation all night. Now, we had driven past our campsite and we'd noticed where all the other camping spots were located because we wanted to make sure that our site was as remote. And this place, this state park, it's called Baxter State Park, is totally thick, like woods. There was nobody else. I mean, this is not a place that you would just go like, you know, walking in the woods by yourself with no path or like just a machete or something to get through the bush. And it just seemed like there was no real source from where this conversation or these voices were coming from. And the first night I heard it, I was just like, whatever, like I'm just gonna ignore it, you know, like if there's something paranormal happening, like the last thing I want to do is like call attention to it, you know. And the weird thing is, honestly, I heard this the second night as well because we were there for 2 nights. So I don't really know, you know, I just think it's really weird that there was nobody actually around and we were hearing like muffled conversations. You could hear men and women voices, but nobody else was around. This is not like I said, the kind of tamer state park where you go camping and there's a lot of people around. It was very remote, to say the least. And I mean, I've been camping a lot of times. I've never had that kind of situation happen. And you know, it sounds like it's not that big of a deal, but when you're in the middle of a remote state park, knowing that, you know, the people that work at the state park, the rangers, they go home at night. Like there's nobody to like come save you if like shit goes down, you know? But still, you know, I had a good time. I would say that nothing actually happened to us. It was just kind of scary. And I've been on a lot of camping trips and I've never had anything like that happen. But you know, hey, all I can say, God is good and nothing happened to me. So if you guys are curious about what shades I'm using in this, I will have them listed in the description box. It's just a little bit distracting when I have to like introduce all my products, but you guys will see which shades and exactly what I'm using. So I'm curious, you know, after my little experience at the state park, you know, I want to know how many of you guys have had any weird experiences that could possibly be paranormal. You know, whether or not you know for sure that it is, how many of you guys have had experiences like that? I can tell you guys for sure that my house that I grew up in was haunted, like for sure, for sure. The previous people that lived there, the husband actually committed suicide and he drowned himself in the pool. And you definitely could like feel that a soul or a spirit was there. So I'm just laying some cream shadow. This is from Colourpop. It's from their brown sugar collection and this is such a pretty color. It's just gonna be a base for another powder shadow. Now I'm gonna layer this yellow shadow on top of it. And I'm just doing this because I like the way that these two combine. They form like a really beautiful bronzy, like multi-dimensional yellow look. Now, quick thing that I want to point out to you guys, this yellow shade that I used right here in the palette, this is the first yellow that I've put on that hasn't gone on patchy. And usually you can tell right away, you know, it requires a lot of layering. I've used a lot of different yellows because it's been like a big thing that comes out in a lot of palettes this past summer. And this is the first time I've used one where I didn't have to layer it a lot and I'm loving that. For liner, I've got my trusty Urban Decay Perversion liner. Okay, I'm back. I got some liner, some lashes. The eyes, they just look so good when you add lashes on. It's an addiction, people. It's an addiction. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am on a foundation kick. I'm just enjoying trying new foundations. Now, I'm hella late to the game on this, but I just got the Estee Lauder, the Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup Foundation, okay? Wow, okay, that's all I can say. Wow. My shade is 6W2. Now, initially I just got this on a whim, but this shade match is like pretty on point for me. And so far, I'm just really impressed with how long it stays on the skin without creasing, without looking cakey, without looking oily. I'm so impressed. Now the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is the anime that I've been loving, okay? Maybe you guys know, maybe you guys don't know, but I'm a huge anime nerd. I watch a lot of anime, like a lot. I'm gonna take my concealer real quick and just do that while I'm talking to you guys. So some of the anime that I've been loving so far, the first one's called Demon Slayer. That's a really good one. Now the ones that I watch are in sub, so they're subtitled, but they're not dubbed over. So that might be a big drawback for some of you guys, but it is what it is. You get used to it after a while. Now the next one, I just got into Black Clover. That's a really good one. It starts off kind of annoying, but it gets really good, and I love like the character development in that one. Now if you guys have never watched anime, but maybe you're interested, some classics are Inuyasha. Inuyasha is like a good, like feel-good anime. What are some other ones? I love the Dragon Ball series. I feel like you guys probably know that already from a past video. And I've also got like some t-shirts, like I'm obsessed. And I always get comments from people whenever I go out, you know, with those shirts on. Now the Dragon Ball Super series is like kind of an addition to some of the other ones that they did in the past. And I really like those. They're like still just as amazing as Dragon Ball Z and the original Dragon Ball series. So I'm so curious, do some of you guys watch anime? I would love to know. Anime is not just for little kids, guys. Some of these definitely should not be watched by little kids at all. Like, it may be a cartoon, but there's some like grown adult-ish in there, okay? Now, if some of you guys have any anime that you want to recommend, I have seen Attack on Titans, which I love, by the way. If you guys are going to recommend that one, just want to let you know I've already seen it, but I'd also love to know if you guys have recommendations, because I'm always looking for new anime to watch. Now for some contour action, I'm gonna use my Smashbox. This is the Studio Finish Stick, and I'm still working on this contour section. It's taken me a while to really like use it up. It's so good though. I just wish that they would just sell this on its own and not the foundation side. You know what? This little Real Technique brush has become my favorite for blending out contour. It just works so well, and it always gives me like a nice seamless blend. You can go over it with a sponge if you want to, or just put in that arm work to blend it, but it does such a good job. Now I'm setting my under eyes with the Laura Mercier powder, and I'm just using like the pat and roll technique that I've been using for quite a while. I got this from a makeup artist on Instagram. Her name is, I feel like it's Magic Molly something. I'll put her name down in the description box. But she is so freaking talented, and it works every time now. I'm so glad I started doing this. And for bronzer, I've got my Hoola Toasted. Now this is from Benefit, and I have a lot of bronzers, and I just gotta be honest with you guys, I love this one the most. It just gives me such a beautiful natural look. Like, we waited a long time for this Hoola shade extension, but they really killed it. Also gonna take just a little bit for my nose, and just define it just a little bit. I'm not gonna use a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna use an oldie but a goodie. I just can't stay away from this from too long. This is Black Radiance. This is Toasted Almond. I know a lot of you guys use this one. And honestly, the reason why is because it's so good. It just gives that like nice hint without overdoing it, you know? Now I've got my setting spray. This is the Fresh Vitamin Nectar. I love this. I also have the travel size too. This is so good for just taking away that powder look, refreshing your makeup. It just makes you look amazing. And I can't forget to mention that the mister on this actually works, spreads it out evenly. It doesn't like do that camel spit in your face, you know? So while I'm waiting for this setting powder to dry, I want to tell you guys about how my retinol journey is going. It's going so well. So I went through the initial phase of kind of like the purging, you know, and it really brought forth a lot of texture on my face. Anything that could cause a pimple that I had in my pores like was brought to the surface. And it was a little scary for me. I kind of, you know, didn't really film that much just because it was just like too much for me to cope with. But now I find that my skin and the texture is so much smoother. Like I could literally not use a filter ever on Instagram or anywhere and I would be totally happy. Now when I put on makeup, it looks so much smoother, like around my nose looks smoother because I get a lot of texture there. For highlights, I've got my trusty, this is the Beach and it's my Ray Ray palette number 1, and I'm gonna use this one right here, French Toast. Now the kind of retinol that I have been using, it's from Neutrogena, and I don't know what percentage it's at. So if you do your research and you find out, you know, the different retinols, there's like a bunch of them with different percentages for how strong the retinol is. So I don't know, but it was definitely really tough for my skin to adjust, and it's definitely a process that you have to like commit to, okay, to see like really good results. You can't just use it for like a week and like think that your skin's gonna be amazing. Some people purge for 6 months and then their skin gets better. I'm about, I think, week 6 or week 7 and my skin is looking really nice. It had a couple rough weeks, but I'm really happy with how it looks right now, and that really makes me want to like continue using retinol. It just like it looks awesome. I have to say, this is like model skin, you know. And I have a 4K camera, so that's like really hard to achieve. A lot of people talk about like I don't know, like filters that you have on your camera. I use a Panasonic Lumix GH4. There are like no filters that come with this thing that's even possible. I don't know about it, but I just want to say this is like real skin, okay? I'll put the Neutrogena product that I'm using down in the description box because I cannot remember. It's like a long name, but it's from the drugstore. Now today's lip cocktail is gonna feature some different products. I'm trying to branch out, okay? I have a lot of lip products and I always use like the same 3 products, but today it's different, okay? Now I'm gonna use this LA Girl. This is actually an eyeliner, but I bought it and I started using it as a lip liner and it works great. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep doing that. This is in the color brown. It's an eyeliner, but whatever. I use it as a lip liner. Now I'm going to use this Ciate. This is the Liquid Velvet in the shade Swoon. And I'm just going to do, you know, my ombre lip thing. This is like a really nice peach nude. Now to top it off, I'm gonna go in with Laura Mercier. This is their gloss. It's called Bare Blush. And you know, just do my thing. Although you can even wear this alone if you want to, but I can't resist gloss. And this is nice. It's natural peach nude with like a hint of that glossy effect, you know? Looks bomb. Now I just gotta say, I snapped on this. I'm really feeling myself. This is so cute, so wearable, but still a little glam, still a little pop of color on the lids, you know. If you guys want to chill with me some more, go ahead and check out some of the videos that are right next to me. I would love it if you wanted to kick it with me a little bit longer. As always, I love you guys and I will see you in the next one.